So, we discussed about June 2021, July 2021, August 2021, September 2021, October 2021 and November 2021. Monthly current affairs at a stretch 2 hours as a marathon. We were been discussing about the current affairs, and now the December 2021 current affairs. What are all the important aspects which were been there in this December month 2021? I will be explaining now. So, first is about Kain Betwa river linking project. This is a long lasting issue. Kain Betwa river linking issue. It is mainly the states which are involved in this Kain Betwa river issue is Madhya Pradesh as well as Uttar Pradesh. If you see the map, we have Uttar Pradesh and we have Madhya Pradesh. These are the two states which are involved in this Kain Betwa interlinking of rivers. These both are the tributaries of Yamuna river. These both are the tributaries of Yamuna river. One is Kain river, other is Betwa river. These both are coming together and having a joining point here, which is Kain Betwa inter-river linking project. Why it is in the news? In the month of December, the government of India for the first time categorized the fund. For the first time, the issue was going on. Environmental clearances was absent. States were been not happy. Uttar Pradesh is not allowing. Madhya Pradesh is not allowing. So, state specific issues were been there with respect to this Kain Betwa interlinking of rivers project. But in the month of December, finally the approval was been completed and fund allocation also started in the month of December. So, approved the fund of Kain Betwa interlinking of rivers project, and that they had put a target that by 2029 the project will be completed. It is going to be a very big mammoth project of interlinking of two rivers, one is Kain and Betwa. On March 2021, a memorandum of agreement was been signed between the Ministry of Jal Shakti and the government of Madhya Pradesh and Uttar Pradesh to implement the Kain Betwa river. So, which started in the month of March 2021, the fund allocation happened in the month of December. From that particular point onwards, 8 years they targeted that they will be completing this particular project. This is one which we have to remember. How much long it is? It is going to be a 221 kilometers long interlinking of river projects, in which 2 kilometer long tunnel, a 2 kilometer long tunnel is going to be with respect to this 221 kilometer long tunnel. The project has two places. Mainly it is mainly concentrated at the Kain of Madhya Pradesh and Betwa of Uttar Pradesh. Who is going to implement this? There will be something called a special purpose vehicle. There is a concept called a special purpose vehicle. You need to know about the concept of special purpose vehicle. Special purpose vehicle means for that particular purpose, a institution will be established or an organization will be established. That institution or that organization will be working for implementation of this particular project is called as special purpose vehicle. So, a special purpose vehicle called as Kain Betwa Link Project Authority will be set up to implement this particular project, which is called as Kain Betwa Link Project Authority. This is Kain Betwa interlinking of rivers, river linking project of Madhya Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh as well as government of India. These three are involved in this particular big mammoth project. Second, which is in the news is Mount Sinamuro. Mount Sinamuro is in the news. Why this Mount Sinamuro is in the news? Mount Sinamuro is something which is in the news because in Indonesia there is one particular mount which is very famous for volcanoes. Recently in the month of December, a volcano was been erupted from this Mount Sinamuro. So, you have to remember the prelims point of view. Mount Sinamuro is something which is very popular, which is present in Indonesia. This is the Indonesia where the Mount Sinamuro is present, where the volcanoes are coming up consistently. And not only that, people, nearly 14 people were been killed and dozen people were been injured because of the gases which were been released from this volcano. So, Indonesia in Mount Sinamuro, the volcano was been erupted. Prelims point of view, Mount Sinamuro is in news because of what? The Mount Sinamuro is in news mainly because of eruption of volcano. The next is flash drought. There is something called as flash drought. What is this flash drought? So, very in simple language I will tell you how we will having flash mob. What is flash mob? Suddenly the people, the young boys and girls will come together and they will be dancing. That is called as flash mob. In malls or in colleges also this flash mob will happen. Flash floods. So nothing will happen, suddenly a very big rainfall will happen and the centimeter rise in the thickness will be very high. Flash floods we will call. In the similar lines there is something called as flash drought. In the same line there is something called as flash drought because of continuous no rainfall and high temperature. For one particular time period, for example for 3 months, no rainfall, and in this 3 months heavy temperature, and because of this heavy temperature there is a concept called as evapotranspiration. Evapotranspiration means from the soil the water is evaporation is happening, from the plants the evaporation is happening, everywhere whatever the humidity is there, the water is dried up, the water is getting evaporated. That particular concept is called as trans-evaporation, and everywhere the humidity is becoming zero, everywhere it is disappearing in the form of water vapor, hence it is resulting in the form of a drought-like condition. That particular drought-like condition is called as flash drought. It is in the news. Chennai, Madras, Chennai and the surrounding areas are very famous for this evapotranspiration, which is very famous for flash floods. See, at a single location, it's not a consistently a long period of no rainfall, it is not that. Within 3 months there will be no rainfall, within 3 months total evaporation will happen because of high rise in temperature. Because of high rise in temperature. Next, there is a question, Nagarjuna, are these 50 current affairs enough for dynamic subjects like environment and economy? Yes, 100%. Very selectively it is be made. SPV subordinate? No, SPV is not subordinate to state government. SPV is an independent autonomous body. Special purpose vehicle will be independent autonomous body which will be having exclusive authority, who will be working under one particular organization. Like for example, Kain Betwa interlinking of rivers authority will be working under Ministry of Jal Shakti. There is something called as cold wave. Again there is something called as cold wave. In cold wave we need to understand the severe cold wave, we need to understand the mild cold wave. The cold wave which is determined by International Meteorological Department. The cold wave which is determined by International Meteorological Department, whereby the temperature suddenly falls down. The temperature suddenly falls down and the wind will be of very less temperature, and that particular movement of cold waves or cold winds is called as cold wave, which is happened in the month of December in United States of America. Because of the cold waves, nearly 300 people were being died in United States of America. So not only flash drought, opposite phenomenon is also happening, which is called as cold wave. In that cold wave, you have to remember these points. In that cold wave, if a cold wave is declared when a minimum temperature is less than or equal to 0, severe cold wave conditions when the temperature is less than minus 10 degrees centigrade, severe cold when it is minus 10 degrees centigrade, and cold it is 0 degrees centigrade. The next is study on migration of river delta. Simple. What happened, if the rivers are there, the rivers will be flowing. So when the rivers are flowing, they also carry what? They also carry soil, they also carry silt, they also carry dust. So when they are flowing into the ocean, the best example is Sundarban Delta, the best example is Godavari Delta, where the water which are submerging at one particular point into the ocean, that particular place where the submergence of river is happening into the ocean at multiple openings, not a single opening, at multiple openings is called as delta. So what is happening? So when the water is going, so this river is carrying the silt, the river is carrying the dust, the river is carrying the sand, it is going and it is getting settled before the ocean. So what is happening? The silt is getting accumulated at the delta. The silt is getting accumulated at the delta, number one. And the tide which is coming from the ocean, is again pumping back. Again it is pumping back the silt. It is again pumping back the soil. So there is a migration of river delta. So what is happening? The movement is happening of the river delta. Sometimes the river delta is little bit inside the ocean, sometimes the river delta is something inside the land area. So the movement is happening because of high tide of ocean and because of heavy movement of silt in the delta region. That particular concept is called as migration of river delta. There is movement of river delta is happening. The research identified 4 aspects that determine the movement and migration of river delta system: interplay between the effects of river, tides, waves, amount of sediment that channel carries. So mainly These sediments are getting moved across the delta as well as near the ocean. That particular movement of delta is called as migration of where, sir? Mainly in Sundarbans. If you see here, there is a dark, light blue, sky blue, and it is brown color. So if you see, this is the sediments delta which is coming down and again which is going off. It is coming down, again it is going off. So there is a movement of delta is happening. Sometimes 500 meters above the inside the ocean it is coming, again it is going back. So total silt is moving inside, moving outside, moving inside, moving outside. That particular concept is called as migration of river delta. Rygard Fort, it is there in the movies also. Rygard Fort of Maharashtra. This is a grand opening. Rygard Fort was being known as grand opening into the Deccan. At the time when the transportation and communication was been not there, if North Indians want to enter into the South India, the North Indians want to enter into the Deccan region, they have to cross this Rygard Fort. The Rygard Fort is a symbol of success for Marathas. But this Rygard is ruled by 3 kingdoms. This Rygard Fort is been ruled by 3 kingdoms chronologically, starting from Bahmanis to the Nizam Shahis to the Adil Shahis. Bahmanis to the Nizam Shahis and Adil Shahis. From Adil Shahis it went on to the hands of Marathas. It is not constructed by Marathas, but it is been taken by the Marathas. So it is been from Bahmanis to the Nizam Shahis onto the Adil Shahis. After Adil Shahis, this particular famous Rygard Fort is in the hands of Marathas for longer period. Why it is in the news, sir? In the month of December 2021, President visited this particular Rygard Fort for 4 days. So what is the significance of the Rygard Fort is very important. It was been seen as the capital of Marathas. The Rygard was been seen as the capital of Marathas. And Rygard was the name given by Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj. The fort was seat of Maratha clan Shirki in the 12th century. In 1656, Shivaji captured it from the Moors of Javalis who were under the suzerainty of the Adil Shah Sultanate. First it was been constructed by the Marathas only. But it is taken away by Bahmanis. It is taken away by Nizam Shahis. It has been taken away by Adil Shahis. Again who captured it? Maratha. So why it is in the news? Because President exclusively visited this fort, Rygard Fort, because of which you have to know about it. In the December, the President of India visited this fort. Greater Tipra land, I will tell you. What is this Greater Tipra land? You know, there is something called as Schedule 6. There is something called as Schedule 6. Schedule 6 AMTM. AMTM, AMPM, P in spite of P there is T. Assam, Meghalaya, Tripura, Mizoram. AMTM are tribal areas. 4 states are there in Schedule 6 of the original constitution. Schedule 6 of the Constitution of India, there is a concept called as tribal areas. In tribal area states are 4, that is Assam, Meghalaya, Tripura and Mizoram. Why they are named as Schedule? Why they are named as Schedule 6? Why they are named as tribal areas? Where the population of the tribes in this particular states are more than 50%. If the tribal population is more than 50%, that particular states were been identified as tribal areas, and there are significant pockets of tribal areas in this particular states where the population is more than 90%. So they need to have their own administrative structure. Hence in Schedule 5 there is a concept called as autonomous district councils, who is having legislative power, executive power as well as judicial power also. They can make the laws with respect to money lender, they can implement with respect to land acquisition, they can give judgments with respect to property and marriages. That particular body is called as Autonomous District Councils of Schedule 6. Now what happened within the state of Tripura? This is the map of Tripura map, and you know Tripura, a large border of Tripura is Bangladesh. The large border of Tripura is Bangladesh. So in between, if you see, this is green, this is light color, this is green, this is light color. So now this light color areas are inhabited by some of the tribal community called as Tripuri tribal community. So this Tripuri tribal community is asking that we want to have a separate state. We don't want to be with the part of Tripura, we want to have a separate state. Why? Because lot of infiltrations happened, and in Tripura state, lot of illegal Muslims or illegal migrants from Bangladesh are settled in Tripura. So we want to create our own state, which is called as Greater Tripuri land, which is called as Greater Tripura land. Several tribal outfits in Tripura are demanding for a separate state of Greater Tripura land for indigenous communities in the region. Why you are discussing, sir? In the month of December 2021, they had bursted, they had killed 12 police personnel in Tripura state, because of which again it came onto the surface, because of which it is in the news. So what is the news? Greater Tripura land. Why Greater Tripura land? Because they are asking for a separate state, not country. They are not asking for separate country, they are asking for separate state. Greater Tripura land, in which entire Tripura tribal areas, autonomous district councils area will be a separate state. Among the 19 notified tribal scheduled tribes in Tripura, Tripuris are the largest in the state, followed by Ryangs and Jamtayas. The parties demanding Greater Tripura land want the centre to carve out the separate state under Article 2 and 3 of the Constitution. So mainly, Greater Tripura land is in the news. Greater Tripura land is in the news mainly to have a separate statehood. To have a separate statehood called as Greater Tripura land. They will be dividing from the state called as National Litigation Policy. There is a beautiful policy called as National Litigation Policy. What is this National Litigation Policy? I will tell you. Most often, the problem is, yes, there are millions of cases pending in the Supreme Court as well as the High Court, millions of cases. According to the recent report, nearly 2.5 crore cases are pending with Supreme Court and High Court. These many cases are there. When we calculate from Supreme Court to High Court to subordinate courts, these many cases are pending. So government thought that we are trying to increase the judges, we are trying to solve the cases, but it is not happening. So what we will do? We will reduce the number of cases. What we will do? We will reduce the number of cases. If I want to reduce the number of cases, what I have to reduce? I have to reduce the number of litigations. I have to reduce number of litigation. And who is the party? Who is the main party for almost all the litigations? State. Who is the party for almost all the litigations? 80% of the cases the litigant is state. Government took my land, police came and beat me, police is doing encounter, police is doing human rights violation, this revenue inspector is asking for corruption, this judiciary is doing like this to me. So in almost all the cases, the state itself is the party. So what they want to do, under National Litigation Policy, which came into existence in 2010, the National Litigation Policy was been started in 2010. According to National Litigation Policy, the ambition is to reduce the number of litigations. And how I can reduce the number of litigations? By making such that the state should not be the party. So by amicable solutions, making the other party to understand to not to put a case in the court, so that the number of litigations will come down. That is the major objective. National Litigation Policy is under consideration in order to lay down guidelines for preventing, controlling and reducing what? Litigations. Keeping in view the policy and plans of the government in any organized manner. National Litigation Policy was formulated by the Department of Legal Affairs, Ministry of Law and Justice in 2010. National Litigation Policy was floated to curtail filing of cases before the courts or tribunals again and again on the same issue. This policy was formulated to bring down pendency and litigations from government agencies by making them more efficient and responsible in filing cases. Are you getting my point? Who is the litigant? Government is the litigant. So how I can reduce the cases? By making government not part of the litigant. I am not keeping case on this person. The number of cases between the two individuals is less. The number of cases between individual and the state is more. So first, where I have to take care? I have to take care such that the government should not become the part of litigation. So that is a major motto. That is the major motto of National Litigation Policy of 2010, and in the month of 2021 December, we had made an action plan how to reduce the cases on government such that the number of litigations will come down. Rising legal age. See, in the month of December, there is a thought process to increase the legal age of marriage, but by February they implemented it. So in 2021 December, the government openly declared that we are going to increase the legal age of marriage for women from 18 to 21. And they made a law in the month of February, and they finalized that now the legal age for marriage is 21 but not 18. For Hindus, in Hindu Marriage Act of 1955, 18 years as the minimum age for the bride and 21 years as the minimum age for groom. Where it is present? Hindu Marriage Act. Special Marriage Act of 1954 and the Prohibition of Child Marriages Act 2006 also prescribed 18 years and 21 years as a minimum age of consent for marriage of women and men. In Islam, this is very important. In Islam, the marriage can happen legally if the girl attains puberty. That is the reason there is a demand for uniform civil code. So why there are exceptions in some cases? For example, in Islam, according to the Personal Muslim Law Board, the marriage can happen if the girl crosses puberty, irrespective of the age. In Islam, the marriage of a minor who has attained puberty is considered valid. Irrespective of the age, if the girl achieves her puberty, she is ready for the marriage. So that is where there is a demand that we need to increase the age of girls holistically. Across India, not Islam, not Muslim, not Hindu, not Christian, everyone. This particular race in age is for everyone. You have to know this. In Hindu Marriage Act, 18 years is only for Hindu girl, not for Muslim girl. But now they increased the age of marriage for a girl from 18 to 21 for Hindus. It is not for Hindus, it is for every citizen of the country who is girl, who is woman. So that is the reason. That is the reason some of the liberals or some of the people tell that it is the next step. It is the first step towards uniform civil code. This is the first step towards uniform civil code, and the next target is uniform civil code. And the recently in one particular government elections, one political party told that if we are going to get elections, we are going to make uniform civil code in our state, and they won also. Now they are planning to implement uniform civil code. Which state? Uttarakhand. So on what basis? This age was being increased on the basis of Jaya Jetli committee, very important. For every such revolutionary laws, for every such revolutionary policies, there are some committees are there. So one of the committee is Jaya Jetli committee. An early age of marriage and early pregnancies have impact on nutritional levels of mother and their children, and the overall health and mental well-being. It is also an impact on infant mortality rate and maternal mortality rate. Positives: health will be better, woman empowerment will happen, gender neutrality. Why groom 21 years, why bride 18 years? Now bride and groom both are 21 years, gender neutrality. Further reduction of child marriages. But the criticism is mainly it is present in most of the child marriages are happening in SC, ST below 18 years. Now you are increasing up to 21 years, and who are going to affect means SC, ST, minorities, poor people. Because of their poverty, they are marrying their children, they are marrying their girls at early age. Now you are making it illegal. So they are not only suffering with poverty, now they also suffer with police action. Now they also suffer with legal action. So you have to develop them. You have to give them education, you have to give them health, you have to provide everything, then you have to make such provision. Why they are going for child marriages? Because they are unable to bear the girl more than 18 years, more than 16 years, so they are going for child marriages. Poverty is one of the aspects which is responsible for child marriages. So indirectly 21 is a very big age, more child marriages will happen, but not. Why? Because 18 itself is a child marriage, now 21 is a child marriage, so number of child marriages will increase. Multi-state cooperative societies. Multi-state cooperative society. There is a cooperative societies, like Amul, Anand Milk Cooperative Society, Amul, or here we have Mulkanuru Milk Cooperative Societies. So cooperative societies are very famous, and it is good also. The idea is also good, because of which now we have a Ministry of Cooperation also. Who is the head of the Ministry of Cooperation? Amit Shah. So that personality got this Ministry of Cooperation, means he is one of the main person of BJP government. He is provided with Ministry of Cooperation, means the government focus is more on cooperatives. So what is this cooperatives? People of same socio-economic background come together. People of the same socio-economic background come together. Based upon their like-mindedness, they establish one particular firm, or they go with agriculture, or they go with milk, or they will go with any other aspect, and they establish a company and they will be running like a company. That particular society is called as cooperative society. So such cooperatives are there for states. But sometimes what happens, the cooperatives will be spread across the 2 or more states. If the cooperatives are spread across 2 or more states, then that particular cooperative is called as multi-state cooperatives. When the cooperatives are spread across 2 or more states, that particular cooperative societies is called as multi-state cooperative societies. Then who will be regulating it? If it is one state, then the state government and state registrar will be regulating it. If it is multi-state, it is a central government which will be regulating it, which is called a central registrar. The centre has decided to amend the Multi-State Cooperative Societies Act 2002 to plug the loopholes in the act. Cooperatives are a state subject, but many societies have their members and areas of operations spread across many states. For example, sugar mills along the districts on the Karnataka-Maharashtra border, they are thus registered under Multi-State Cooperative Societies Act. Their board of directors have representation from all states they operate in. So mainly, in order to regulate them effectively, the central government is planning to amend Multi-State Cooperative Societies Act of 2002 to make it more rigid, such that central government will be regulating this multi-state cooperative society. Non-convertible debentures, I will tell you what is this. Non-convertible debentures, I will tell you. What is debenture? What is debenture? Debenture is nothing but a bond. What type of bond, sir? I am a Reliance company. I gave a notification in the newspaper, I am going to open debentures, which is nothing but a bond. Oh, Reliance company opened the debentures, which are same as bond. Oh, I will put investment, that is the best place to put investment, I will get very good returns. Return on investment is very high. So the person will come near me. So yours is a bond or a debenture? Our is debenture. So what is debenture? Debenture means you have, for example, you are putting 10 lakhs rupees debenture in me. I am giving you an instrument. Instrument means a bond paper. You had paid me with, you had put investment of 10 lakhs rupees, for which 10 years I am going to pay you the interest of 10%. So please take this as an evidence and keep it with you. After 10 years, come near me with this instrument. Oh, very good, fine, very nice. So your money is there, packed. If I go to bank fixed deposit, the interest rate is less. How much? 5% or 6%. Here Reliance is giving 10%. Why? Means it's a private company. Little bit risk is there. Let it happen. Reliance is a big company. So I kept 10 lakhs. I took a debenture and I came. Then I am seeing 1 year, 2 years completed, then I got the information that Reliance company is in losses. What I have to do now? In debenture mein kya hota hai bole to, in debenture what will happen means, I can convert my debenture into share. Bond, what will happen means, I have to go and I have to give the bond and I have to get the money, that's it. If he doesn't having the money, then there should be then there will be some settlement and he will be paying me some amount and I will be going. But in debenture, if I have a option whether to get the money or whether I need to convert into shares. If it is performing well, then what I will do? Please, you don't pay me back the amount. For that you give me 1 share. Anyhow you are telling 10 lakhs rupees 1 share, no? You give me 1 share. So the bond amount which was been fixed earlier, now it is becoming what? A share. That is called as debenture or convertible debenture. Non-convertible debenture means you will put amount, but it cannot be converted into share. It cannot be converted into share. So, non-convertible debenture is nothing but a bond. Convertible debenture or debenture means which can be converted into share. That is the difference. Got it? Non-convertible debentures. Overdraft facility, which is also called as OD. Overdraft facility, which is also called as OD. इसमें क्या होता है? If you remember, प्रधानमंत्री जन धन योजना, no fringe accounts, zero balance accounts, only Aadhaar card should happen. SBI people, Canara Bank people sitting outside the banks, come open the bank account, 2014. Huge targets, and finally they revealed that we opened 16 crore of bank accounts under Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana account. Then afterwards, who are forcefully opened their account, they started visiting the bank. You told, Narendra Modi told 15,000 he will be depositing in the bank account. Narendra Modi also told that I am going to bring all the black money which is located outside in 2000 election campaign. I will give everyone 15 lakhs rupees. I will bring all the amount from black money from Switzerland, all the black money, and I will be distributing among them. So they also thought 15 lakhs amount will come, and they started opening by giving their Aadhaar card. That is Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana account. At the time the bank people were being died because everyone started asking whether 15 lakhs amount came in my account or not. Check. And 15 lakhs amount, if it comes, it will be like a very big festival, no? Why simply it will come and fall? No. Here everyone are telling it came in the account. Once you check, no? Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana account. At that time there is something called as OD also they promised and they gave for below poverty line people. 5,000 rupees OD when I don't have any bank account, when I don't have any balance in my account, I can visit a bank. By doing self-declaration, I can get 5,000 rupees OD. 5,000 rupees OD means 5,000 will be deposited by the bank. After 1 month, a minute interest will be calculated on that particular amount, that is called as OD, overdraft facility. When we doesn't have any bank, already sanctioned amount will be there in the bank. I have to go to the bank and I have to ask for disbursal. When they disburse, I can use this amount, that is called as OD. Another example I will tell you. In bank there is a concept called as OD account will be there. OD account. OD account means if I am a big retailer or I am a big traderman, I am a wholesale trader. So what I will do, for a wholesale trader, money will come and go. Now money will come, then what I will do? Again tomorrow I will buy the stock. Now money will be finished. Again day after tomorrow again I will buy. So the remaining amount which is the gap which is there is profit. Sometimes what will happen? So they will be rotating the amount to this OD bank account. So when I don't have the bank balance, but I need to buy the stock, and tomorrow my money will come, I will go to the bank and I will tell that already we opened overdraft, please provide me 5 lakhs rupees. Immediately they will release, and this 5 lakhs I will pay to the stock and I will buy the stock. Tomorrow I will sell it, I will get 5 lakhs. Again I will pay to the OD. So only 1 day interest will be there. How many days I use the money, those many days only interest will be there. Again I can pay it back. So for how many days we are going to use the amount, those many days only the interest will fall. That particular concept is called as overdraft facility. Why it is in the, I told you the concept of overdraft. Ministry of Rural Development will launch the overdraft facility of rupees 5,000 to verified women self-help group members under Deen Dayal Antyodaya National Rural Livelihood Mission. It is a flagship program of Ministry of Rural Development launched in the year 2011. So mainly overdraft facilities are provided to self-help group members, each member, not to the complete group. Self-help group means complete group means 10 members will be there. For 10 members, if you give 5,000, 500 rupees, they will tear and they will go. For every person, 5,000 rupees. OD facility is provided. So with that 5,000 rupees, what they will do? They will buy a sieving machine or something, candles, wax, etc. Again, how there is agriculture infrastructure fund, How there is agriculture infrastructure fund, similarly there is something called as fisheries and aquaculture infrastructure development fund. Fisheries infrastructure development fund, which is called as FIDF, fisheries infrastructure development fund. इसमें क्या होता है कि there is a target of development of, it is started in the year, fisheries and aquaculture started in the year 2018, and the target is to increase the fisheries production by 20 million tons by 2022, by 2023. Creation of both marine and inland fisheries infrastructure facility in order to promote fisheries, in order to promote aquaculture. Marine aquaculture, inland what? Aquaculture means seafood as well as fresh food, fresh water food. Fresh fish also will be there, sea fish also will be there. So, it is with respect to marine as well as river food. See, duration is 2018-19 to 2022, 5 years. By 5 years, there is a target which is started in 2018, it is going to end by 2023. Fisheries and aquaculture. Is Jan Dhan Yojana account, one question is there, is Jan Dhan account should be opened in public banks only? No. Jan Dhan accounts can also be opened in private banks, but private banks are not opening. At that time they opened only for 2-3 months when the target was been there, then slowly they stopped opening. Why? Because they want business. What they will get by opening zero balance account? Unnecessary tension, every day coming to the bank asking passbook printing, this printing. So private banks should open, but in reality they are not opening. Private banks, cooperative banks, public banks, 3 should open Pradhana Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana according to the provisions of the scheme. Next, steps to increase indigenization of defense production or indigenous defense production. There are 2 industrial corridors were being made, mainly to indigenize defense production. To indigenize defense production, 2 clusters were being made. One is in Uttar Pradesh, other is in Tamil Nadu. Industrial corridor, defense industrial corridor, which is called as defense industrial corridor. In budget 2018-19, the central government had announced setting up of 2 defense industrial corridor. One कहाँ पे? उत्तर प्रदेश में. दूसरा कहाँ पे? तमिलनाडु पे. उत्तर प्रदेश defense industrial corridor is located in Aligarh, Agra, Chitrakoot, Jhansi, Kanpur, Lucknow. Tamil Nadu industrial corridor is located in Chennai, Coimbatore, Hosur, Salem as well as Tiruchirappalli. These are the 2 whereby defense industrial corridors are aimed at providing the defense manufacturing ecosystem in both state and attract investments worth 10,000 crores in each of the DICs by the year 2024-2025. The main ambition is in every defense industrial corridor, in Uttar Pradesh 6 are there, in Tamil Nadu 5 are there. In Tamil Nadu 5 and in Uttar Pradesh 6, in each defense industrial corridor 10,000 crore investment we have to bring by the year 2024-2025, by which the defense manufacturing should happen indigenously. Non-renewal of registration of NGOs under Foreign Contribution Regulation Fund. There is something called as FCRA. What happened in the month of December 2021? Government, mainly Ministry of Home Affairs, will be giving the permissions, licenses, renewals for NGOs. They are very rigid against Christian NGOs. They are very against renewal of Christian NGOs. The government believed that the money which is coming up through these NGOs from foreign countries are mainly used for evangelization, conversions. So government has been made amendments. One amendment, first the Foreign Contribution Regulation Act was been made in the year 1976. It got amended in 2010 and again it got amended in 2020. So what is the 2020 amendment? Why I am discussing 2020, sir? The Foreign Contribution Regulation Amendment Act 2020 was implemented from 2021 December. It came into enforcement from December 2021. It mainly tells that the amounts which are coming from foreign countries for these NGOs, The foreign contributions which are coming for these NGOs should route only through one bank, SBI, which is located in Delhi. So the total amount which is coming from foreign countries for these NGOs should come through one particular branch, one particular bank. So what will happen? Government can properly regulate. No bank, no branch should allow the foreign contributions. So if the foreign contributions are coming, so it should be everything, all the money will converge at one particular branch called as SBI Delhi. So what will happen? The government can scan it. SBI can scan it, the government can scan it, and the government can know about money came for what purpose, money is used for what purpose. Number one. Second thing, what they did in this amendment, what they did, they told that earlier 50% of the fund which is coming, they can be used for administration purpose, maintenance purpose, like office, AC, building, chai, samosa. For all this, 50% of the amount can be used, and 50% amount for real work. Means if 10,000 crore are coming, 5,000 crore for the maintenance of the NGO, 5,000 crore for developmental activities, or whatever may be the purpose. Is it not misuse? So this 5,000 crore they can use whatever they want. So government, what they did in Foreign Contribution Regulation Act of 2020, what they did, only 20% you can use for administration purpose, remaining 80% you have to use for the purpose which the NGO was been licensed, and everything account should be maintained. So what will happen? 20% means, for example, 10,000 crore, 2,000 crore is for administration. So all the administration work will be done by 2,000 crore, 8,000 crore will go for the desired purpose. So money cannot be misused. These are the two things which were been made, but the great, what it might be, whatever may be, 179 from among this, including missionaries of charity, denied. Missionaries of charity, mainly Christianity, were been targeted. They were been not provided with renewal of license. K. Paul will tell, no, charity city. That is a missionary of charity. The funds which are coming from foreign countries on the name of development is used for the sake of evangelization. The government has been regulated, the NGOs didn't renew the license. So this NGOs now they are not getting funds. That is the Foreign Contribution Regulation Act of 2020. Tokenization we discussed. Tokenization we discussed. What is tokenization? Now I no need to carry the mobile phone, I no need to carry my phone, I no need to carry my UPI beam card, that QR code, nothing I need to carry. Just I will go, oh, this much is the bill, this is my token. I will tell the number, they will enter it, oh yes, it is confirmed. So they will be debiting the amount from my bank account. That is called as new model of tokenization, which is called as RBI's tokenization. PLI scheme for semiconductor goods, production linked incentive scheme, which became successful in textile sector. Now they are planning for semiconductor as well as for drugs also. Production linked incentive बोले तो कितना production करोगे इतना incentive भारत देगा. Semiconductor devices are important for what? Electronics industries. We are underperforming where? We will talk only about oil, petrol, diesel, only this thing we will discuss. No, we are very poor. We are very poor in electronic circuits also. We are very poor in electronic devices also. Most of the TVs, most of the refrigerators, most of the ACs are imported. Why? Because we don't have semiconductor fabrication center in India. We don't have proper infrastructure for electronics manufacturing industries. South Korea have, Japan have, Taiwan have, Singapore have, but we don't have. So for that, what we need to do? We need to produce more semiconductors. So in order to produce more semiconductors, government need to provide incentive. Same electronics are dependent upon what? Semiconductors only, no? So production linked incentive scheme is extended for semiconductors also, so that the semiconductor devices will be manufactured more. When the semiconductor devices are manufactured more, electronic goods will be produced more. When electronic goods are produced more, our imports on electronics will come down, and we can also do export. The center sanctioned 76,000 crore under production linked incentives scheme to encourage the manufacturing of various semiconductor goods within India. The scheme commits amid inadequate supply of semiconductor chips in the global market, which has severely affected the supply of goods such as cars, laptops and phones. Under the production link incentive scheme, the center will offer financial support to companies that want to manufacture semiconductor goods in India. The subsidy will bring down the production costs of companies manufacturing such as goods and thus encourage them to set up a new factories and other facilities. So mainly in order to promote electronics industry, in order to promote semiconductor devices industry, we are coming up with this production linked incentive scheme for semiconductor device. Similarly, we have PLI scheme for drugs also. In the month of December 2021, Department of Pharmaceutical had launched a production linked incentive scheme for production of domestic manufacturing of active pharmaceutical ingredients and key starting material. Very important. Take this. Listen this. Two terms you have to know. Active pharmaceutical ingredients, key starting materials. What is this? I will tell you. In your chemistry, when you are studying about, you have somewhere studied about solute and solvent. What is solute? What is solvent? Solvent is something which is like a water. Solute is something which is very powerful element. If you put this solute into the solvent, it will become the solution. Means that chemical is very important. Solute, which is getting mixed into the solvent. Like water is there. 1000 liters of water is there. If I put 1 gram of poison, whether 1000 liter will become the poison or not. So that 1000 liters is called as solvent. That 1 gram is called as solute. Active pharmaceutical ingredient means I am suffering with back pain. So that key material, the key material which is used, the key ingredient which is used to reduce my back pain is called as active pharmaceutical ingredient. So, but if I take that, my body cannot sustain it. There is a need for neutralizing, some other metal should be there, so it should be neutralized and it should be used. So what I will do, I will use this active pharmaceutical ingredient with this key starting material, both I will mix and I will take it as in a tablet. That residual element is called as key starting material. That original content is called as active pharmaceutical indicators. What is the problem in India? In India, we have key starting material, but we don't have active pharmaceutical indicator. So, Government of India had come up with a production linked incentive scheme. We should produce more active pharmaceutical ingredient as well as key starting material, so that our imports will be reduced, our production will be there. If you produce more, government will give incentives, production linked incentives. See, bulk drug, the active is a chemical molecule in a finished pharmacy that lends the product the claimed therapeutic effect. Means the active which is contained in the medicine, and active to relieve pain is included in a painkiller. Key starting material, also drug intermediate. Key starting are chemical compounds that are used as a base to make an API or to make an API. An API starting material can be raw material, intermediate or API that is used in the production of API. So mainly it active pharmaceutical as well as key starting material. In order to produce them, Government of India is giving what? Production linked incentive. Cross border insolvency. We have Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code. We have Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code. What is this, sir? Also everyone will talk about insolvency, bankruptcy. What is the meaning? Insolvent means I am a company. I took a loan from SBI. I am unable to pay back them. Why? Because my business is not working. Now what I will do? I will not pay the bank account. I will not pay my loan. Means when I am not paying my loan means I am becoming bankrupt. So you came near me. You asked me, you catched my collar and you started asking me, you took loan from me, why you are not paying the amount? I am insolvent. I don't have money. Only body is there. If you want, you can kill me. What he can do? Nothing he can do. So that particular stage is called as insolvent, and that particular nature of not paying the loan is called as bankruptcy. IB, Insolvency, bankruptcy we will use in some, when in 1 decade back this word was very popular. Business were not working. Most of the people who come into the business, they used to lose, they used to go to the court and they used to put IB. IB means insolvency, bankruptcy. I took loan, but I am unable to pay. Only body is there, you can kill me. Then what the bank will do? Nothing. Bank want money, but I am unable to pay. That particular condition is called as insolvency, bankruptcy. A code was been there. Similarly, here there is something called as cross-border insolvency. Cross-border insolvency means I took loan from different countries. From Asian Infrastructure Bank, I took loan from World Bank, or I took loan from Shanghai Bank, I took loan from Japan Bank. So different banks I took loan, and I am in a Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg. I am Mark Zuckerberg. So they believed me and they paid me loan. Suddenly Facebook, another book came. Now everyone started downloading another book. Facebook became less and thought that I want to improve. He started putting lot of investment. In spite of putting lot of investment, another book is becoming successful, but not Facebook. Now the bank people came, pay me the loan. Now I have to file the insolvency, bankruptcy with which country? Why? Because I took loan from multiple country banks. Now I am an insolvent not for India, I am an insolvent for many countries. That particular concept is called as cross-border insolvency reforms. In that situations, we need to have a reform. Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code of 2016 is now set for another amendment to expand the scope of the code to include cross-border insolvency matters. Cross-border insolvency involves a situation where an insolvent debtor, I took the amount but I am not paying back, has assets or creditors in more than one country. It transcends the confines of a single legal system. The issue is when different countries have conflicting domestic bankruptcy insolvency regimes governed by principles of territorialism. There is also an issue of lack of cooperation amongst the foreign countries and statutory agencies. Simple. I have properties at one particular country. If I am bankrupt here, this country's bank will take the property. Other country bank, if they come to take this property, local countries are not allowing, domestic countries are not allowing. So now UNCITRAL, United Nations Conference on International Trade is asking for, we need to have one particular bankruptcy code for international firms, such that if anyone did not pay the loan but having property, took the loan from other country bank, this another country bank can come to his home country and sell his property and get the money and take the money. That is called as cross-border insolvency reform. Recommended, not confirmed. It is recommended. Neo banks versus traditional banks. There are three types of banks are there. One is called as traditional bank, other is called as digital bank, other is called as neo bank. Traditional bank means brick and mortar banks. They will sit, the computer will be in front. If you come with a slip, if you come with a passbook printing, they will show, go there. That is called as traditional banking. Go and talk to the manager. 4:30, I have to go home, finish, done, close. That is called as traditional banking. Means a brick and mortar type of banking sector is called as traditional banking. Digital banking. A traditional bank which is having digital services is called as digital bank. Neo bank. New concept. Neo bank. No brick and mortar presence. No physical presence. Only digital presence. Only digital presence. All the operations will happen digitally. No face-to-face connection. Everything is virtual. That particular type of banks are called as neo bank. Physical bank, web and mobile service. Up to 100 years, up to 10 years ago, it came into existence. Long-term in-person, flexible virtual. In-person phone, only phone or online. High complex, low and transparent. Why? Because everything is digital transactions. Entire partial. Yes, bank offices are there with traditional bank, bank offices are not there with neobank. Long traditional banks, confirmation process is instant in neobank. So neobank is totally digital without any brick and mortar presence is called as neobank. So this neobank is an idea. Listen this, the neobank is an idea. They didn't establish it yet. It's an idea now. So if it get established, it will obviously come under the presence of RBI. But for that there is a requirement of amendment to RBI Act of 1934. Neobank is an idea. Comparison between some banks are proposing the RBI to establish neobank. In this 21st century, why we need to have a brick and mortar branches? We will have everything online. Status of gig workers. Who are gig workers? 2021 mains question this is. Who are gig workers? Gig workers are those who doesn't have any permanent employer-employee relationship. This is the definition. Gig workers are those who doesn't have any permanent employer-employee relationship. Come, work, take the money, go. Come, work, take the money, go. Swiggy, Zomato, delivery boys, these all are gig workers. No commitment, no provident fund, no PF, no income tax, nothing, up to some limit. Those are called as gig workers. Gig worker is that system whereby there is no formal relationship between employer and employee is called as freelancers are called as gig workers. Another name for gig worker is freelancers. Gig workers is a person who performs or participates in work arrangement and earns from such activities outside of the traditional employer-employee relationship is called as gig worker. There is nothing called as employer-employee relationship. According to the industry estimate, India's gig workforce comprises 15 million population. 1.5 crore people are involved in gig working nowadays. The surge in demand for gig workers, particularly in the shared service and logistics segments, is increasing day on day. So now the demand for gig workers is increasing. Why? Because there is no risk for employer, there is no risk for employee also. What is the risk for employer? He need to give health coverage, he need to pay for provident fund, he need to pay TDS, all these things. You come, you do work, you go, finish. That is called as gig workers. India Out campaign, this is in the news. You tell me, this campaign is happening in which country? India Out campaign kahan pe ho raha hai? India Out campaign is happening in which country? You are writing prelims. This is a very big campaign, no? India Out campaign, Maldives. In Maldives, there are some forces which are acting against India. So a campaign was being launched in Maldives saying that India is Maldives friendly. So there should not be any campaign against India. That campaign is in Maldives. In Maldives, the India Out campaign has gained momentum with their former president Abdullah Yamin. Over the last 3 years since Maldives President Ibrahim Mohammed Soleh was elected office, India Out campaign has cropped up every now and then with Maldives mostly on social media. The campaign is led by government critics who accuse their government of allowing Indian boots on the ground and thereby compromising the sovereignty of the Indian Ocean island nation. So now there is anti-India Out campaign is happening, India Out campaign is happening. Both campaigns are happening in which country means Maldives. Why? Because the people are believing that, like how Ukraine people are believing that the Russia is entering into the sovereign issues of Ukraine. So Ukraine people are against Russia. It is not the government, the people are also hating Russia. Why? Because the Russia is intervening our internal matters. Russia is removing our sovereignty. Similarly, the Maldives people are also believing that India is entering into the internal matters of Maldives. Please keep India out. But there is another campaign which is called as anti-India Out campaign. Don't keep India out. India is our friend. The International Solar Alliance. International Solar Alliance. Kiska brainchild hai? The International Solar Alliance is a brainchild which is an outcome of Paris climate. International Solar Alliance is a Outcome of Paris climate, it's a brainchild of Narendra Modi. And the headquarters of International Solar Alliance is located in Gurugram. The target is complete tropical countries should be part of International Solar Alliance. Thereby they have to increase their solar power capacity. Solar power capacity and solar power installations. That is the target of International Solar Alliance. South-South Innovation Platform. There is something called as South-South Innovation Platform. Prelims point of view, South-South Innovation Platform is news nowadays, mainly with respect to what? Agriculture technology. Atal Innovation Mission, Niti Aayog and the United Nations Capital Development Fund rolled out the first agri-technology challenge cohort under the South-South Innovation Platform. Under the South-South Innovation Platform, we are planning for, under South-South Innovation Planning, we are planning for a challenge which is agri-technology. In order to innovate in agriculture technology, in order to move to the greater heights in the agriculture technology, there is one platform which is called as South-South Innovation Platform. Who are parts of it? Launched by Atal Innovation Mission, launched by Niti Aayog, by the United Nations Capital Development Fund and Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation and Rabo Foundation in 2021. Mainly which sector? Agri-tech. Israel missile strike on Syria. You know, there is something called as Arab Spring. In 2011, it started with Tunisia. There is one particular person called as Mohammad Bouazizi. He self-humiliated himself in Tunisia because of the dictatorial regime which is going on in Tunisia. Everything started with that self-emulation, suicide. The Tunisia started revolt, civil war. Within 3 months, the dictatorial government which was been there in Tunisia was been removed within 3 months. 32 years of rule was been removed. It spread to Egypt, it spread to Sudan, it spread to Libya, and slowly by 2017-18 it reached Syria. 15 it reached Syria. In Syria, Assad regime was been there. So Syrian Assad regime is there since 30 years. So the people started resisting the Assad regime. And Syria, Assad was not compromising how Tunisia, Egypt they compromised. Assad also started using chemical weapons on the rebels. So the total country became volatile. And by the year 2015 and 16, there is a place called as Rabat or some place is Rabba. One place is there in Syria, Rabba. Mamata, which place that is? Which became a capital place for ISIS. ISIS captured it. So everyone thought that we will be removing Assad regime. A new power altogether came into existence which is called as ISIS. The city of Raqqa was being captured by the ISIS people. But at that time also, Israel, when the people were been fighting against the Assad, Israel did not supported Syria. Why? Because Israel did not supported the people who are against Assad. Why? Because Assad was against terrorism. And by the time 2018-19, Assad lost his power, but he is there. But Syria became very much volatile country now. But sometimes this Syria was been helping Lebanon. In Lebanon, there is one particular terrorist organization which is also political party in Lebanon which is called as Hezbollah. Hezbollah is a Shia terrorist organization according to United States of America, was against Israel, and Syria was been supporting Hezbollah. So what recently Israel did, they bombed Syria. So that is what it is in the news. Israel's missiles strike on Syria. Why? Because Syria is supporting which terrorist organization in Lebanon? Hezbollah. National policy on biofuels. What is national policy on biofuels? What is the national policy on biofuels? Mainly what we are adding? This third time it is coming, national policy on biofuels. Now you see this many times it is there every month, means compulsory. Why they will not ask in prelims? Every month this national policy on biofuel is there. Why? Because we are more depending on oil. When we are more depending on oil, the imports are increasing, our foreign reserves are coming down. So if I blend it with ethanol, the usage of oil will come down and my imports will come down and my foreign reserves will be conserved. So what I have to do? I have to blend the oil with ethanol. That particular fuel is called as biofuel. The government notified the national policy on biofuel in 2018 to promote the use of biofuels in the country. The national policy on biofuel envisaged a target of 20% blending of ethanol in petrol by 2030 and 5% blending of biodiesel by 2030. But this is original policy. Yesterday in current affairs, when I am discussing November month, on diesel 20% by which year? This is original policy, but they amended last month. This is the original policy I am explaining you. Yes, 20% ethanol in petrol and 5% biodiesel in diesel, but the target is, now they told 20% of blending of biodiesel in diesel by 2025, so that more biofuels will be coming up. They changed the national policy on biofuels, but original is 20% of petrol, 5% of diesel. But now they reduce the diesel also by 20% by 2025. National Nutrition Mission, which is nothing but Poshan Abhiyan. National Nutrition Mission, NNM. National Nutrition Mission, which is nothing but mainly targeting what? Infants nutrition, mother nutrition. Cabinet approved setting up of National Nutrition Mission to reduce the level of stunting, undernutrition, anemia and low birth weight, to monitor, supervise, fix targets and guide the nutrition related interventions, will create synergy, ensure better monitoring, will incentivize states, union territories for meeting the targets, to cover 315 districts, budget 9,000 crore. National Nutrition Mission is called as Poshan Abhiyan. Midday meal scheme now called as what? We discussed Pradhana Mantri Poshan 2.0, ethanol blended, mainly with respect to national policy on biofuels. National Vector-Borne Disease Control Program. Vector-borne disease, tell me some names of vector-borne disease. Malaria, typhoid, more, dengue, chikungunya. Vector-borne, a vector will be there, it will be moving. A bacteria can be a vector, a virus can be a vector, a mosquito can be a vector. National Vector-Borne, yes. National Vector-Borne Disease Control Program is an umbrella program that deals with following diseases: malaria, dengue, filaria, Japanese encephalitis and Kala-Azar. The program was launched in 2003-2004 by merging National Anti-Malaria Control Program, National Filaria Control Program, Kala-Azar Control Program, Japanese encephalitis. These all were been mixed together under one particular program called as National Vector-Borne Disease Control Program. Zero budget natural farming, everyone know, you have to tell me. There is something called as Jivamrita. What is that? There is something called as Jivamrita. Pradhana Mantri Poshan Shakti Nirman. Pradhana Mantri Poshan Shakti Nirman is midday meal scheme. This is just Poshan Mission, Poshan Abhiyan. You tell me this. Zero budget natural farming means without any fertilizer, zero tillage also. Zero tillage means what? Without? Zero tillage means what?
Without plowing the soil.
Huh?
Without plowing the
without ploughing the soil. We will not plough. We will not disturb the soil. No artificial fertilizers, no ploughing. That particular concept is called as zero budget natural farming. Then how we will give fertilizer? There is something called as Jivamrita. There is something called as Jivamrita. See here. Jivamrita, a mixture of fresh cow dung, aged cow urine. Aged cow urine means they will keep for some days for cow urine. Jaggery, pulse flour, water and soil on farmland. They will mix it and we will put for some days and they will throw across the land. High fertile. So without any artificial synthetic fertilizers, synthetic pesticides, if you use Jivamrita, the idea of Jivamrita belongs to, there is one particular Padma Shri man, that person is Subhash Palekar. The idea is of Subhash Palekar. That particular concept is called a zero budget for enhancing soil microbes. Yes. So soil microbes will come, and these microbes, what they will do? They will go inside the soil and they will pinch. So when they pinch the soil, what will happen? The oxygen flow will be happening. That flow is very, very important. That is zero budget natural farming. Gramin agricultural markets. You know, regular markets, now we are calling the regular markets as Gramin agriculture markets, which are also called as grams. Government program to convert 22,000 rural hearts into Gramin agriculture markets had barely 6% of the conversion target since launched in 2019. In the budget announcement 2018-19, the government of India has announced to upgrade the existing 22,000 rural hearts into grams. Gramin agriculture markets are village level retail markets which help farmers in selling their produce locally. Simple. These markets will be organized, local markets, infrastructure will be provided by the government, and there these local farmers will come and they will sell their products. That is called as grams. Gramin agriculture markets. We started in 2018-19. There is a chance for online platform also. There is an online platform is also present for grams. That is important. See, line they are selling. There is an online platform also. What they will do? For the grams, for the village, they are going to provide a website, a platform, a web portal will be created. If they want, they can put their goods here and they can sell the goods also within the village premises. Aggregation of small lots of farmer producers through an institutional mechanism for gaining enhanced bargaining power and subsequent sale either at the grams via an online trade platform also. WTO dispute on India's sugar export subsidies. What is this? Listen. According to World Trade Organization, Agreement on Agriculture, Doha round of talks, in agriculture sector, government should not give subsidy more than 10%. If government is providing subsidy more than 10%, it means the government is intentionally disturbing the market. So you are giving subsidy, so the rates will, what will happen to the price? The price will come down, so your prices are coming down in the international market, so everyone will buy your goods. So you are intentionally, reducing the prices of the agriculture produce by providing more than 10% subsidy, input subsidy. So there should not be input subsidy more than 10%. So in WTO what happened? The sugar manufacturing companies like Brazil, sugar manufacturing countries, producing countries like Brazil, Guatemala, Australia, they went to WTO and they complained that in India, in the sugar, for the sugar farmers, the government is giving subsidies up to 20%, like giving them free electricity, like giving them free water, like giving them free irrigation facility, giving them transport and communication facility. So obviously input is less, so obviously the price of the product will be, yes. So you are distorting the price in the international market, hence they complained in WTO. So what is the limit fixed by the government? 10%. If more than 10%, it is not allowed according to WTO. This is a dispute all about. What is agreement on agriculture, sir? There is something called as agreement on agriculture, mainly with respect to market access, domestic support, export competition. Agreement on agriculture, market access, tariff reduction, green box, blue box, export subsidies, agreement on agriculture. Prelims point of view, what is important? Green box. Green box means subsidies which are provided but which are not distorting the market price is called as green box. Subsidies that do not distort trade or cause minimal disruption is called as green subsidy. So green box means where you can give the subsidy, because of that subsidy, if there is no disruption to the market, it is called as green box. Amber box, broad range of subsidies limited to 5% of agriculture production in developed countries and 10% in developing countries. This is valid. Green subsidy is positive. Amber box is allowed in developing countries and developing countries 10% subsidies, 5% in developed countries. But blue box broad range of subsidies allowed must be designed to minimize trade distortion. Means when we come under the blue box, the subsidies are more than 10%. When the subsidy is more than 10%, so the WTO will brand India as blue box. When India is branded as blue box, which means that we are providing subsidies more than 10%. When we are providing subsidies more than 10% means trade distortion. Next, India's first green hydrogen microgrid. Simple. What it will do, water, electrolyte, this electrolyte will be separating hydrogen and oxygen. This electrolyte will be separating hydrogen and oxygen. This separated hydrogen will be used as fuel. So that separation of hydrogen is called as India's first green hydrogen microgrid project. So here in this microgrid project, the hydrogen will be separated. That is which is important. You have to prelims point of view, please remember this. What is green hydrogen? What is blue hydrogen? What is grey hydrogen? What is black and brown hydrogen? What is pink hydrogen? What is turquoise hydrogen? What is yellow hydrogen? This you have to remember. Expected question. What is green hydrogen? What is blue hydrogen? What is grey hydrogen? What is black and brown hydrogen? What is pink hydrogen? What is turquoise hydrogen as well as yellow hydrogen? M sand. Nowadays sand is available for construction. Nowadays sand is not available. Sand is available heavy cost because the sand has been exploited already. Sand has been exploited like anything. So now there is something called as M sand. M sand means manufactured sand. Sand itself is manufactured. Now what are remaining? Hills are remaining. Now what we are doing? We are taking these hills, which is called as granite. So we are taking this granite and we are crushing it. We are crushing it into fine powder. When we are crushing into fine powder, it is becoming like a sand-like structure. This we are using like a sand. That is called as M sand. Manufactured sand is artificial sand produced from crushing hard granite stones into sand-sized angular shaped particles, washed and finely graded to be used as construction aggregate. M sand is the most effective and efficient substitute for river sand as it is the most robust sand. The size of M sand is less than 4.75 mm. P sand, which is called as plastering M sand, which is P sand, is a very fine grain of, it is a free of silt and clay particles and has denser particles packing than natural sand. This P sand, which is packed as plastering M sand. Reintroduction of gharials in Bees Conservation Reserve. Gharials. Where can you tell me where these gharials are present? Gharials are same like crocodiles, which are critically endangered. According to IUCN list, it is critically endangered, which is gharials. They are introduced into Punjab wildlife preservation. Gharials are mainly present in Uttar Pradesh. Now, which are critically endangered, they are pumped into Punjab's wildlife preservation wing has reintroduced the gharials in the rivers of Punjab, where it had become extinct half century ago. So these gharials live in clear freshwater river systems, congregating at river beds where the water is deeper. They are not well suited for land, so they generally only leave the water to bask in the sun or the nest. Means mainly the gharials will be living inside the water where the water is deeper, which are mainly present in Ganga. Gharials are present in Uttar Pradesh. Now this gharials has been relocated to Punjab, where they became extinct. The gharials are critically endangered. Kasturi Rangan Committee. Two committees are there. One is called as Kasturi Rangan Committee and Gadgil Committee. Gadgil Committee told total Western Ghats is eco-sensitive zone, whereas Kasturi Rangan Committee told only 37% of Western Ghats is eco-sensitive zone. Kasturi Rangan Committee is also responsible for one education policy. What is that? New Education Policy 2020 is based upon the committee recommendations of Kasturi Rangan Committee recommendations. This is Kasturi Rangan recommendation. There will be Western Ghats Ecological Authority, a statutory authority which enjoys the powers under Environment Protection Act of 1986. 37% of the total area of Western Ghats are eco-sensitive. Here no industries, no urbanization, no habitations. Apart from 37%, there can be habitation. But this Madhav Gadgil Committee told that total Western Ghats is eco-sensitive zone. There should not be any industries, there should not be habitation, there should not be urbanization. But Kasturi Rangan told how much percent? 37%. That is very important. See, the report recommended a blanket ban on mining, quarrying, setting up of red category industries and thermal power projects in this 37%. No, complete ban. Kasturi Rangan Committee. Man-animal conflict is a common phenomenon. Man-animal conflict is a common phenomenon. It might be a tiger, it might be elephant, it might be wolf, it might be black bug, it might be a Gangetic dolphin. When the man and animal both are coming together, there is a man-animal conflict in environment topics. Flex fuel vehicle, simple. Hybrid vehicles. Petrol tank will be there, beside there will be biofuel will be there. Or petrol tank will be there, beside there will be electric engine will be there. Means which will be running by petrol as well as batteries. Which will be running by electric, which will be running also by petrol. That type of vehicles are called as flexi fuel vehicles. Which flexi fuel vehicles. It might be anything. It can be a CNG, petrol. It can be CNG, diesel. It can be diesel, it can be battery. So that combination is called as flexi fuel vehicle. Parker Solar Probe. For the first time, NASA's Parker Solar Probe has officially touched the sun, plunging through an unexplored solar atmosphere known as corona. So the Parker Solar Probe entered into the corona, the outer layer of sun it touched. What is Parker probe? Parker probe is a probe of NASA which went to explore sun and it reached the sun in the month of December 2021. Parker Solar Probe. Heat abayas. What is heat? High speed expandable aerial target, abayas. A target. High speed expandable aerial target from integrated test range, developed to meet the requirement of aerial targets of Indian Armed Forces. It is designed for autonomous flying with the help of an autopilot. Autonomous flying means autopilot. Pilot will not be there. From the ground we have to give the directions, like video game. From ground we have to give the directions, according to that it will be moving. It is called as autopilot or autonomous weapons. Autonomous weapons, they themselves will think and they will be moving on. Man will not be there. That is heat abayas. Autopilot, autonomous flying. It controlled from a ground-based controller and indigenously developed MEMS-based initial navigation system. Heat abayas. Supersonic missile assisted torpedo system. Torpedo means under the sea, if I release a missile, it is called as torpedo. Torpedo. From the sea, from the marine, submarines in movies we will see, no, missiles will be going under the sea. Those are called as torpedoes. Torpedo. Supersonic missile assisted torpedo system. DRDO developed supersonic. More than the sound, more than the speed of sound is called as supersonic. System gets successfully launched from Wheeler. A torpedo is an underwater ranged missile above or below the water surface, self-propelled towards a target. Long-range missile-based standoff torpedo delivery system. The smart system has been designed to enhance anti-submarine warfare at Wheeler Island. So, supersonic missile was been assisted, torpedo system is present, which is tested very recently. Issues with mandatory iron fortification, I will tell you. Listen carefully. Government of India had an idea in the month of December. They thought that India is a country which will be eating lot of rice. 60% of the Indian population will be eating rice and 40% will be eating wheat. And the anemia is more prevalent in rice eating belt. So, government of India thought, I will fortify rice with iron. I will fortify rice with iron. So, iron is good for my body, for any body, mainly for women. Iron is very important. Why? Because in women the hemoglobin content is less. If hemoglobin content is less, the man or the woman will become weak. The presence of hemoglobin mainly depends upon iron in the body. So, the government has thought that we will be fortifying rice with iron. So, when I consume iron, it's good. In limited quantity, it is good. Why? Because my hemoglobin content will increase and I will become active. But if iron content increases, when iron content increases in body, ferritin will increase. And if this ferritin is increased and goes to liver, it results in jaundice, it results in diabetes, hence the failure of the liver chances are there. Excess iron is also not advisable. Issues with iron fortification, mandatory iron fortification. So we should not go with excess, anything excess is danger or not? Anything excess is danger. You are fortifying iron means it will be excess. When it is excess, the iron content will increase, hence it leads to jaundice. Quantum technologies, very speed, high speed quantum technologies. QU bits, very high speed where the technologies are moving is called as quantum technologies. Xenobots, simple, I will tell you. Mainly frog. What they did, they took arms, they took the skin of the frog and they joined like robots. They joined like robot and they started using it. That particular joining like robots is called as xenobots. Joining of robots is called as xenobots. So animals are brought together through machines and the connectivity is been made, and that particular instrument which is coming out from as a similar as animal is called as xenobot. So it is a robot only, but made of animals, made of animal organs, made of animal arms is called as xenobots. Web 3.0 imagines a decentralized web. Web 1.0 a traditional website. Web 2.0 e-commerce or Facebook. Web 3.0 which is of interactive platforms. 3.0 like blockchain technology, cryptocurrency, meta, these all are Web 3.0. Web 1.0 is traditional websites. Web 2.0 is like interactives like Facebooks. Web 3.0 is cryptocurrencies. These are blockchain technologies, etc. The Global Hunger Index 20 prepared by Wealth, Hunger, Life and Concern Worldwide, very important. India scores to 27.5, ranked 101 among 116. In the category of having severe hunger situation is based on 4 indicators. Number 1, undernourishment, child stunting, child wasting, child mortality. Child stunting, child wasting, child mortality and undernourishment. Based upon these 4 criteria, this ranking will be given by Wealth, Hunger, Life and Concern Worldwide. Yes. World Migration Report, simple. I will tell you what is the output, but this World Migration Report is given by United Nations International Organization for Migration. Earlier migrations was happened because of wars, because of pandemics. Because of wars and because of pandemics, the migrations used to happen earlier. But now, according to this World Migration Report which is given by United Nations International Organization for Migration, the large chunk of migration is because of climate change. Because of climate change, mainly the islands, small islands where the people are living, the islands are coming under the water because of melting of ice at the glaciers level. So the most of the migrations which are happening across the world is because of climate change. See, historically conflicts and violence have been the biggest trigger for new displacement, but in recent years this trend has changed. 76% of the new displacement in the world is caused by disasters, climate change disasters. 50 topics we did of December 2021. Very quickly we will have a recap. 51 slide, first slide. So second slide, 50 topics. Kain Betwa, Mount Sinamuro, flash drought, cold wave, study on migration of river delta, Rygard Fort, Greater Tipra land, national litigation policy, raising legal age for marriage for women, multi-state cooperative society, non-convertible debentures, overdraft facility, fisheries and aquaculture, infrastructure development fund, steps to increase indigenous defense production, defense industrial corridors, non-renewal of registration of NGOs, RBI's norms on tokenization, PLI scheme for semiconductors, PLI scheme for drugs, cross-border insolvency reforms, neobanks versus traditional banks, status of Geek Workers, India Out campaign, International Solar Alliance, South-South Innovation Platform, Israel missile strike on Syria, National Nutrition Mission, National Policy on Biofuel, ethanol blended petrol program, National Vector-Borne Disease Control Program, Zero Budget Natural Farming, Jivamrita, Gramin Agriculture Market, which is online also, WTO dispute on sugar, agreement on agriculture we have, green box, amber box and blue box. India's first green hydrogen microgrid project, types of hydrogens, M sand, we also have P sand, plastering sand. Reintroduction of Gharial in BS conservation in Punjab, Kasturi Rangan Committee and Madhav Gadgil Committee, a man-animal conflict, flex fuel, Parker solar probe, heat Abhyas, supersonic missile assisted torpedo system. Sickle cell anemia is nothing. Sickle cell anemia is what? I will tell you. Usually, hemoglobin will be circular in shape. Hemoglobin will be circular in shape, like this. But if the hemoglobin becomes like this, sickle shape, the major purpose of hemoglobin is pumping of oxygen transportation. Movement of oxygen is a major function of hemoglobin. Movement of oxygen is a major function of hemoglobin. When hemoglobin is circular, a proper movement of oxygenated blood will happen. But when it sickle cell shaped, it achieved, the movement will not be regular. The oxygenated blood movement will not be regular. So what will happen? It will be suffering with congestion. Hence, there is a chance of death of the individual. Sickle cell anemia. It is mainly because of X-recessive disease. It is mainly a genetical disorder, mainly because of X-recessive disease. You remember that. Hemoglobin, in hemoglobin beta gene, it is a pair of allele. Yes. The defect is caused by substitution of glutamic acid by valine at the 6th position of the beta globin chain of hemoglobin. Mainly when the hemoglobin becomes this shape, then the hemoglobin cannot perform optimally, hence it results in weakness, eventually death also. It is called as sickle cell anemia. Issues with mandatory iron fortification, quantum technologies, xenobots, Web3, Global Hunger Index, World Migration Report according to United Nations, International Organization for Migration. The present 76% of migration is because of disasters, which are because of climate change. The 50 topics of December month. So June we completed, July, August, September, October, November, it is properly, it is stretch for 2 hours. Next is January, February, March, April, but maybe we will do on June 1st. Any doubts you can ask me. Yes, Nagarjuna, these topics are enough, but don't by heart it, try to understand it. Every month 50 topics is enough and more. Apply in mains also. And one more thing which is in the news now, today, 2 things are there. Simple, which is polity point of view, which you have to know. See what happened, the Rajiv Gandhi killers, because to get sympathy from Tamilians in Tamil Nadu, M.K. Stalin had asked the governor to recommend the president for pardoning of one of the killer of Rajiv Gandhi. But what happened? Then one of the public interest litigation was been filed in the Supreme Court. Who is the governor to ask the president for pardoning power? It is the president's discretionary power, and if the petition come from the family of the accused, then who is this governor? Governor doesn't have any constitutional power to recommend the pardoning power from governor to president. That is the issue. So the Supreme Court also questioned, hey, who are you, governor? How dare to ask the president? What is your constitutional position and what is the constitutional position of, and where it is mentioned that the governor will be sending for pardoning power to the president. You can maximum you can send any bill which is passed in the state legislature to the president. How you can send pardoning to the president? That is the issue. Second issue, NEET exam. NEET exam, all over India, one exam. NEET exam is for what? Medical exam for what? MBBS or MD? For PG or what? Undergraduate, MBBS. It is for MBBS. So, NEET exam, a bill was being passed in the legislature of Tamil Nadu, in the both the houses. It sent to the governor. Governor again sent it to the president. President sent back for reconsideration. It came down. Then again it went to the assembly of Tamil Nadu. Second time also it passed. Now it went to the governor. So now M.K. Stalin is asking the governor. Why? Because governor is an agent of president, agent of center. So he is asking, please make sure that it should be passed. We want to conduct our own NEET, we don't want to conduct NEET under central government. Our own medical seats, we don't want to come under the ambit of NEET examination. That is what the issue. Now, if the president accept it, what Telangana will do, what Andhra Pradesh will do, what Karnataka will do, what Maharashtra will be doing, just they will be seeing the cinema, or they will also pass a bill. If it is not accepted, what they will tell, acha, you will give permission for Tamil Nadu, you will not give permission for us, see what we will do. So now the central government is in a position where they cannot make a decision, but they will make a decision easily. Why? Because DMK and BJP are protagonists. They are against. Anna DMK and BJP are friends. If the bill was being made by Anna DMK, then there is a chance that it might be passed. But the bill is made by the DMK. MK Stalin is telling that I got approval from all the political parties of Tamil Nadu, so the president should keep the signature. They didn't got from in their state only, they didn't got approval from BJP. Then how the BJP will give in the center? It will not pass. If it pass, then every state government will ask that I also want to conduct my own. Then the very basic purpose of having the NEET exam will fail. So this is a issue, current issue. So pardoning power of president, pardoning power of governor. Directly I will tell you. There is something called as reprieve, respite, remission, commutation, pardoning powers of president, respite, remission, reprieve, commutation and pardoning power of governor. Both the powers are there. But he can do the pardoning power only for the central law, as well as for martial law, as well as for death sentence. Governor, he cannot do for death sentence, he cannot do for martial law, he can do only for state laws. If it is death sentence, the ball will be in the court of president. What is commutation? What is commutation means, when the serious punishment is there, the serious punishment will be removed and it will be made a lighter punishment, is called as commutation. What is respite? Respite, the character of the punishment will be same, but the duration will be reduced. It is called as respite. Remission is also discount, making it the timeless. Pardoning power mainly with respect to death sentence, where the complete pardon can be done. This is about pardoning powers. And the bill which is passed in the state legislature goes to the governor. Governor can give his assent, governor can deny, governor can send it to the president. In the NEET case, he send it to the president. But he can send it to the reconsideration, it send it to the, again reconsideration, it came to the Tamil Nadu. Second time in Tamil Nadu legislature, it got passed and went to the governor. Now if it goes to the president, he can reject it or accept it. But after reconsideration, if it goes to the president from parliament, then the president should give his assent. President should give his assent. But if it is coming from state legislature, after reconsideration, the president is free to accept it or reject it. Such a sort of that minute things you have to remember. Okay? Current affairs based, such type of questions will come. Can Tamil Nadu frame a bill on NEET? Yes, they can make. Why? Because education is a congruent, no. Education is a congruent. According to 1976 42nd Constitutional Amendment Act, education is incongruent. So Tamil Nadu can make, Parliament can also make. But if there is an issue between the state bill and central bill will prevail. I took this migration report from down to earth. In the PDF which I provided you, you can see the source also from where I got, so that authenticity will be more. Next will be January 2022. January 2022 current affairs. Today I will send the PDF, prepare, and if you come to the class, then it will be a very interactive type. Okay, thank you.